Hey, Ultraman Card Game fans, we are back with round three, somewhat, of the Galaxy Cup for Wildcard Cyclone. So, this is again the first weekend of BP7, and everyone's out playing their new decks. So, here we have a quick recap of Gaia Agul. So, we're playing Gaia Agul, trying to figure out what combos do and don't work, what matchups look like, and just how we make the most of this deck. Been a lot of fun playing the new Triple R. So one thing, apologies for some technical difficulties, but we don't actually have the full round of Swiss for this. We ended up having space issues with the device after the first match of this round. So instead, we'll talk about this match and showcase some of the other games we had recorded during that day, just to talk about the different Gaia Ghoul matchups and what to really look for, and it's really the combos you can do with the deck. So we're just gonna skip ahead and go straight into this round. So we're playing Haruki, who has a Belial Zeton deck, and we're going to see what's the wildest Gaia Ghoul combo we can pull off this time. So we just come back from a loss against Uncle Jito with his Belial Zeton deck, so we're gonna try and hope for something a little better and do what we can. It is, again, always a tricky matchup, but in this case, we're off to a good start with our level 1 Gaia draw. So here, not always what we want to see. We can see that Belial has that level 7 triple R available from their draw, so they're going to have a lot to work with. So we're going to need to do what we can to make the strongest bounce we have. So going into round 2, we still have lead. So we're going to play our card and really see what we can do to set up. So in this game, we're trying to build towards a big turn 3 combo. So we have a really solid hand, and again, Gaia Ghoul decks are pretty much always thinking at least one or two, if not three turns in advance, setting up the biggest bounce combo you can set up. So here we're biding our time, doing a lot of draws, and setting up a 1-2. So this is always a nice setup we want with the Gaia draws, getting those extra cards in hand. And this one was a surprise, a Spherosaurus. Hadn't seen one of those in a while. So with the Spherosaurus, if you didn't know, it is a BP grade up against basic types, which Gaia Ghoul has a ton of, which makes it a 15k card here. So unless we're able to draw our power type, which we accidentally already played in lane 1, we do need to likely build a triple to end up beating this lane. So we're going to do what we can and get to a powerful combo here. So with this, we're off to a good start though. There was no level 2 Belial, or level 6, I guess, in this turn. So we know that the Belial Triple R is likely not coming out here. So we're going to go all in and see what we can do to get us a win in lane 2 and then keep the pressure up for early game before they can get all their Belials out and active. So here we're going to really just do what we can and like really think about what combos we're playing here. So I believe here we are going to go all in and level up every lane and see what Haruki does to counter. So here we see a promo Zeton, terrifying menace of the meta. Normally this would be a surefire way to not lose that lane, assuming your opponent plays a mono deck. And we have only Gaias out on the field, but fortunately for us, we did play our Gaia that gives a plus 2k on play. So we're going to actually give plus 2000 to that lead lane, use the new triple R's effect, bounce it back over again into the third lane, get another 2000, and since we do have that power type we were talking about before, Spherosaurus is going to be 9k, and we actually are going to lock out and win all three lanes, turn 3. This is one of the wildest Gaia combos I've seen, being able to power through a Zeton. So again, really fun here. If you have the right cards, you can see here we actually had 3 sets of 1s and 2s, and then only one level 3 that we needed to bounce around. Now, of course, this would have been a different matter if Haruki had leveled up the Belial in lane 1. Then we would have had to keep the game going and think about how we power through it. But these are the sort of games where if you see that opportunity, you know the matchups. Sphere Source is very predictable. If it's a 9K, or if it's a basic type is 15K, if we can place a power type there and there's no Jeet identity on the field, we can make it work, which luckily for us, we had our Gaia level 3 and wasn't expecting the Zeton, but still really nice to see ways you can give a bunch of multiple effects from your level 3 guys. So quick game. Unfortunately, that's where our rounds end for Swiss. Gaia then proceeded to flop on games 2 and 3. We just really couldn't get any level 3s we wanted, and then Haruki did take the win for round 3 of Swiss. But unfortunately, since we didn't have the footage for the rest of the games, instead we'll jump around to some other matches. So next we have here a match with against a G deck. So let me see, get this going. So we're going against Jeet here. This is against Ultra Rider, who's playing their Mono G deck from the last set, and we're going to see how it stacks and fares against some of the newest cards out there. So with this, we have Jeet on the bottom and Gaia Agul on the top, and we're starting strong with a level 1 draw, and we will be actually getting another level 1. So again, with Gaia, you do want to set up your combos, that way you can set up as many triples as you want and really power through those powerful bounces. But yeah, so this has been a fun set of Galaxy Cups. It was unfortunate that we couldn't really do as well as we'd hoped against the Belials, but I think some of these other matches are still just a good demo of, like, there's a lot to be worried about when Gaia has that really good hand. And then if they don't have the best hands, then you can try to look for how you outpower them. So this is a good setup. Again, like we won from last time, we have a 2 lanes of draws. Gets us a lot of cards to look for. And here we see our triple R. So we're set up for a really strong combo. And then on the other hand, Jeet has the Wrecking Burst. So Jeet is also drawing a lot of cards and setting up for a powerful combo. So this is definitely where I would say Jeet is a kind of terrifying matchup. That level 2 that forces the tie is actually a great counter towards decks that have all-in combo plays. So if you play this as a 1-2, there is no way you can lose a lane 3, and this will then help you set up for the long game. However, we are going to hope that Ultra Rider doesn't have that level 1 and just power through another big combo play now that we have that triple R. So we're going to go all in, level up every lane again, and they will play their Jeet Magnificent for BP grade downs. But here we're going to actually play our triple R and bounce. So here we have the ability to bounce their lane 1 and then bounce a lane 2. And then we do have an 11K in lane 3, which will be able to beat their Jeet. So with this, this is a quick match. It's, again, one of those like crazy god hands, but with this, you're able to just power through and do combos. So with a hand like this, it's very difficult to lose against most decks. However, that being said, if you don't have the Gaia level 2 triple R in hand, the number of combos and things you can do become quite limited. Not to say that there aren't other Gaia combos, but something to keep in mind. So that was a quick game we had against a G deck, a nice showcase of the different Gaia combos. And lastly, we're going to do a game with Chris, not Durian, but a different Chris, and this will be with their Tiga Blazar deck. So set that up. So these are the sort of games that make me want to play this deck in a competitive setting like Worlds, though it's the games like against Belial Zeton where if you just don't have certain combos, the deck does feel a little bit more limited with what it can do. So with this, we have, actually I think in this case, Chris has lead, and we are off to a good start with, again, a level 1 draw. So I think when you're playing Gaia Agul, it's really key to mulligan to make sure you have a combo, and if you don't have a draw, sometimes it's just worth mulliganing for it, because you just have to take that chance. It's already a deck that if you don't have the right pieces, it's going to have a hard time to come back from it. So here we're both playing level 1s. Something to watch out for this matchup is the lane 3 Tiga swap. So Tiga will be able to do a swap in lane 3, but this is where you can start thinking about the combos and the cards you have to start mapping out possible pieces. Remember, if you have lead, you can bounce their Gaia or Tiga Triple R before it's able to do its swap combo. Or if you think about our game against the Zeton in this first match we showed, you can power something through to 19k, which would beat the Tiga. However, in that case, Tiga is usually able to swap into a lane that is safe. So they usually have quite a few options there. So here we have level 2s in level 2s in both lane 1, and then both of our support characters in lane 2. So what we're looking for is the bounce. If we have, again, a bounce here, we're able to take lead because of the Agul's effect. So if anyone's not familiar, this level 1 Agul does get a plus 1000 if you have a guy on the field. So if you're playing 2 draw level 1s, this Agul will always be able to take lead against their level 1, and in this case, Blazar. So now we're set up to then counter any of their Tiga swaps. So with this, hoping for the Gaia Supreme to really win the game here. So going against Gaia, it is important that you really think about who has lead going into turn 3, especially if you are playing a deck that has a really powerful on play that you need to set up a combo. If your deck is going to be more so based on activates, still painful, but it might be a different amount of setback. So with this, lanes 2 and 3 are the ones you'll really want to fight for, because you'll assume that if they have the Gaia's 1-2, they'll aim for a bounce in lane 3 or lane 1. So here we're going to go all in with the Gaia combo and see if we can win the game outright. If you have seen, it is a great setup for being able to get some extra power with the BP grade down. So in this case, we will be able to bounce the Tiga level 3 before they're able to apply that minus 1k, and then do a bounce on top of their or on top of our Gaia Triple R. And then now it's just about watching for which Tiga swap they're going to do. So they're going to be safe by being able to keep their Tiga in the same lane. This Tiga is an 11k against our Gaia, who is also an 11k. So in lane 3 we have this, and then if I think about our Ghoul is a 9k tied against their Blazar 9k. So 1k off of winning the game, but still a good position to be in. We've kept lead, and we still have our scene out, and we still have our Gaia Triple R. We can continue to prevent any triples in lane 1. Though at this point, Tiga has 2 lanes to consider for doing their bounces. So I think here, this is where we want to make sure we keep up the pressure and set up towards another big combo that we can really get a bounce. The scene does kind of fizzle out if you don't have the bounces, so you do want to always think about how many turns you want to go all in, or what turns you want to hold on to bounces for. So I think here we're just going to try and do what we can and keep playing our triples. We know that we can bounce one of them back, and as long as we're able to do a bounce of our own, we still have our scene on the field. So here Chris is going to level up their Blazar to a triple, which is going to give us a lot of trouble here. So we are going to play our own level 3. So here with the Agul Blade, we are in a great place to have a 17k. And we are going to do quite a bit of math. I remember when this came out, Chris and I did walk through really what what options we had. There's a lot of different activates and on plays on the field to think through, what are the different options here. So in this case, we have lane 1 is a solid 12k against the 1k, and lane 4 is a 17k against the 8k level 3 Tiga. Actually, that might be a 7k. Yeah. So it's really about, can they flip lanes, both lanes 2 and 3. So we do have seen, we were able to do a bounce. So lane 3 is a 17k Tiga, and lane 2 is a 17k Blazar. Oops. So these are the options Tiga is working with. So with this, there's a couple different things you can consider. So you can always BP grade down the Blazar to put a BP grade up on the Tiga, which would protect the Tiga. However, then the guy can activate the scene against the Blazar and then flip that to a 6k against a 9k. So if there was no scene on the field, there definitely would be safe. But unfortunately, since that scene isn't activate and happens after the Tiga on play effects, there's not too much we can do here. But it was definitely an interesting matchup. If there was, yeah, just if it was a Tiga Triple R that could do a swap, there's definitely more options that would open up. But yeah, unfortunately, there was enough Gaia combos, and yeah, we sit here doing the math for a little bit, just walking through all the different options, making sure we didn't miss anything. But yeah, definitely the Gaia combos, if you're able to take lead and have the multiple triples set up, you will give most decks a run for their money. It's just getting to that good starting hand is really key to your success with the deck. I think more so than some of the other matchups. But anyways, this was our part 3 for the Galaxy Cup and other fun matches with Gaia Agul. Sorry for a bit of the rambling on the end, but this is really a lot you can do with the deck. I think that the amount of combos here, like we've even just shown in these videos alone, just don't really showcase the full set of things. In the past match, we saw like being able to play your bounces, setting up an Agul Blade, or playing the guys to get you some extra cards in hand with lead. There's definitely matches that we didn't get to feature here that showed even more things you can do than new Gaia Triple R. Oh, oops, we should update this. But yeah, definitely anyone playing Gaia Agul, look at the new Gaia cards. There's a lot you can do with. You might even find some new combos using old friends. And this isn't even all of the things you can do. There's things like Gaia Blazar that I think are worth considering, and other Gaia decks, Gaia Dyna maybe. Because this new Gaia is definitely favoring a much more heavier mono Gaia setup with additional supports that's either giving you additional bounces or some kind of additional utility. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the series. We'll be back in store for more match videos. And Dury and I will be doing a lot more testing, recording videos quite frequently to set us up for Worlds and figure out what decks we want to play going into it. Thank you.